Welcome everybody to the Latin Nerds Network. My name is Jose and this is my review for Champions, the newest sports film, but directed by Bobby Farrelly, of course, with the Farrelly brothers, who back in the day did movies like Something About Mary, Dumb and Dumber, Shallow Hal, Stuck on You, etc. Me, Myself, and Irene. A lot of zany comedy, and this movie is not that, and that's a good thing. Here he deals with a story about a coach played by Woody Harrelson, a basketball coach who's very well respected, but he's got a little bit of issues. He's kind of an a-hole. That's basically what he is, right? And he found himself now in trouble with the law. He, was drinking and driving and runs into a cop vehicle. So he was found convicted. So now, instead of getting jail time, he had a choice of serving 18 months or serving 90 days of community service, coaching a young team of Special Olympians. Of course, they refer to them as intellectually challenged. So it's a team of ranging from young kids of autism or Down syndrome, etc. So he reluctantly takes the task because what choice does he have, right? He don't want to go to jail, so he goes into his little, I think it's Des Moines, is where it's at, where he has to coach the team. Not very well funded, etc. So and this was a nice, entertaining, feel good kind of film. Very predictable because listen, it's a sports movie, and more yet, it's a underdog sports movie. So we kind of have an idea of how these movies progress, right? This movie doesn't do anything really different. Although the ending may not be what you expected, I've seen that kind of result before, right? And also the arc for Woody Harrelson, right? He's reluctant in coaching these kids, and he ends up, forming a bond with them, etc. So you kind of see where the story is going. So from that sense, it's nothing new. It's not a big deal, but it's all about the execution of the idea, right? And I think it was executed pretty well here. And what I like about it, because listen, it's easy to say this is an underdog film, right? Because you have these, mentally challenged individuals, and just for that reason alone, you just want to root for them, right? I think it's human nature to feel sorry for them or whatever the case is. But we kind of forget, they live their own lives and can do things that we don't even expect. And I like how the movie relies on that more in terms of getting you on board, getting you vested in the team and the characters, because yeah, his kids may have disabilities, mentally challenged situations, or intellectually challenged as they refer them to, but they do things, they have jobs, they have lives, and they get you with the characters themselves, right? These are a really great group of kids. They're funny, they're easy to root for. It's not just about, oh, I feel bad for them. No, they're really good kids. A couple of them have some really sad stories, and they kind of go into it as the movie progresses. So they really get you behind for those reasons, other than just the standard, okay, the disadvantage, so yeah, I got to root for them. It's not like that at all. And I really like that they really harp on that. I think that's very important. It's a fine line you're walking when you're doing this kind of film. Woody Harrelson, I love Woody Harrelson. He's great in it, and yeah, obviously it is predictable what happens to him and all that. But him endearing himself to them, it's very heartfelt and warm, and with some good comedy. It's a little good raunchy comedy as well. So it is, I think it's PG-13, but it is bordering on R at certain times. And an example of talking about sex and all that. These kids aren't hooking up with two girls at a time and all that. So it's pretty funny how they dive into it, and it just kind of eases you into the fact that this is just normal kids at the end of the day, right? And they're thinking the same things that other kids are, right? There's no difference. But it was very enjoyable. Again, it hits the mark in terms of getting to setting up the expectations and meeting those expectations, but at the same time, it's a nice ride. It gives you some good characters to root for and to cheer for, and you feel good about it at the end. And this is the kind of movie what this movie is trying to do, and it effectively does it. Now, it's not the greatest thing ever. It's not going to change anyone's life. And ultimately, in a month like this in March, coming up in March here, we have John Wick and Dungeons and Dragons, Shazam, Scream 6 or 8 or 20. I don't know. I forget. Creed 3 coming up. There's a lot of movies out there, so I wouldn't fool anybody by thinking you guys should see this instead of these other movies. I will see those other movies first. But if you have time, this is one I recommend. It's a nice time, but I think there's one you're probably better off catching at home. After you see all these other movies in March, this movie probably get released next month on VOD. Catch it, give it a shot. It's a nice film. It's funny. Again, it'll tug at the heartstrings at times, and it's easy to root for these cast of characters because of how it's presented. So I enjoyed it. I liked it. Nothing fantastic, But a good job from Farrelly doing something a little different kind of comedy that we used to seeing him particularly early on in his career. So definitely recommend for me. At least catch it at home if you get a chance. It's really well done. But that being said, if you do watch it, comment below. Let me know where you guys thought. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about afterwards. See you guys next time.